Been thinking lately about just the concept behind like the weighted vest, for example, is like shows up on social media, everybody's wearing it, and it's just kind of accepted, right? It's like, okay, we should do this. And then when I actually go look in the data, it's like, okay, there's not really anything there for the population that's using it. And I'm finding this a lot with a lot of other perimenopausal things, like recommendations about how to change body composition, how to change, weight gain. Oh, it's not really that. This is just aging. Like all these different things. And there's parallels to it, I think, in kind of what I have navigated postpartum. Not only, myself as a postpartum mom, but also as a professional. This is my day job. Is sometimes, and I guess this is where I see a lot of the arguments that are happening on social, where you get quote influencers being like, hey, do this. And then they have these promises. And then researchers are like, no, this doesn't work. That's not going to do what you think it does. And so it really just leaves us as the consumer being like, we want to do the right thing, want to do something. What the heck am I supposed to do? And I think we cannot wait in some ways for the randomized control trial. We can be doing things in the meantime. And I don't say that to diminish research. I mean it that research takes a long time, and to do it right, you have to start with foundational stuff. So for example, we talk about postpartum return to run, which is what I know the most about. Having experienced it, having read the research, having navigated patients for 25 years, knowing what we do now versus kind of what I did even 5-10 years ago. And the research now, we're trying to understand what the pelvic floor does in general in running in women who are not pregnant. And then we're also trying to understand, what the body goes through in pregnancy and things that we should expect in postpartum. And historically, we've been very like, oh, don't do this, it might make it worse. But then you're stuck deer in headlights and not doing anything, and actually is doing nothing worse than doing whatever thing that was that they told you not to do, but they didn't have any research as to why you shouldn't do it because there was no research. Do you see where I'm going here? Like, it's really, really hard to be informed. And I think it's even worse in this day and age of misinformation. And I think, again, the reason why I brought it up is I've had a couple friends today, because it's April Fool's, post things where I literally think they had a stroke. I'm like, what is wrong with you? And then eventually there's like, April Fool's hashtag. I'm like, please don't do that. It's 2025. I can't do that. It's not this year. We're canceling April Fool's. So if you are trying to navigate pregnancy, postpartum, perimenopause, what I will tell you is this: there's probably more information about what you're looking for regarding pregnancy related issues, postpartum related issues, than perimenopause and menopause. But the research that is out there, a lot of it is foundational. So again, to go full circle on my example, return to run and preparedness for run and readiness and that sort of thing. A lot of the studies right now are looking at Delphi studies, which means they are asking the experts. I participated in all of those. Anything that comes out, I'm like, yeah, I'm happy to tell you guys what I'm doing, because what we're doing and what we're learning clinically is going to help inform the questions research-wise. But I have come to understand that, quote, groundbreaking research means just finally putting something to bed that's been laying around for a long time. I talked with Amy Mullick last week. She's going to come up on the podcast, looking at basically resistance training in pregnancy and fetal response. And her research is groundbreaking, because we're like, hey, we can finally put this to bed. We've been able to say, this is not going to harm your baby. Whereas for a long time, we're like, no, it's going to harm your baby. We didn't have any data for it. And then women weren't doing it. And then, oh, well, maybe not. And you're okay. And so that's fine. So maybe we're okay. And then expecting research to come up with a new idea at least in this area, I just don't expect it anymore. And I stopped getting upset with research coming out, establishing things that I kind of already knew, because we need to have those things in writing to establish a fundamental understanding moving forward. And really and again, this is probably why I love my job, is like, it's us playing with the opportunities that we have and the problems that are presented to us through our clients. So we learn through you, we learn through ourselves. And that ultimately turns into those Delphi studies, that ultimately turns into the research question, that ultimately will create a solid foundation for things to come. So bump it up forward to perimenopause. And I kind of just have to remind myself, because it's so freaking frustrating, that like people that I respect research wise are like, nope, that's not true. That's not true. I'm like, well, give me freaking something, because I am sitting here, perimenopausal woman, doing all the things, and it's getting a little round around the middle, and I'm not enjoying myself. Okay. And I understand that what I did before is not going to work now. And I get that. But you saying X, Y, and Z is, nope, that's not doing what they say they're going to do. Well, I got to try freaking something. So I think there is this halfway in between where I acknowledge that maybe all the promises that an influencer is promising me isn't going to come to full fruition. And I'm okay with that. I'm also not going to do nothing. And I'm also okay waiting and reading the research as it comes up. If you're going to tell me that like wearing a weighted vest is going to like kill me, great. I won't do that. That's great. But until then, all right, let me play around and see what happens. And I think that like, unless you have that perspective, it can be incredibly frustrating. It's hard to know who to listen to, who to follow. And I think just walking a line, acknowledging kind of both sides, and figuring out what's going to work best for you. That's what you need to do. And if you can have somebody that's knowledgeable and kind of help you make those problems or solve problems kind of moving forward in decision making and things like that, I think it's incredibly helpful. So anyway, on this April Fool's Day, where I literally am not going to read anything anymore because I think my friends are all having strokes because they've lost their minds. Walk the middle. Don't drink the Kool-Aid one way or the other. Think critically. Do what's best for you. So happy April Fool's Day.